cards that you want in your hand. When you look at mech units, they are the ones that are so dangerous to be on the field. So let's go ahead and start things off. Reconnect, our Beast Warrior, or Hunter up on top, and as before, our Mech Hunter down on the bottom.
Do you already consider about the snip snap? Of course, it's good to just start it with. And just going to keep the frame bot for extra magnetic. That's not a bad starting hand for at least on the bottom for the Mech Hunter.
Yeah, I mean, but one of the real strengths of Hunter just in general is if you can play on curve, it's so hard to stop the value coming forward. And so for Asbefore, we're looking for him to stick these early mechs on the board. And for Reconnect, he's trying to clear that board off and still play a lot of his high value cards.
Yep, exactly. Just keeping that Goblin Bomb is actually worth it.
Oh!
So many things you can just attach to it.
Arcane Shot, huge for denying this board.
Is he actually considering it though?
I mean, it looks really nice because you can Arcane Shot and then tracking to set yourself up almost perfectly for that turn 3 play. I think that makes a lot of sense. The only other option would be to play something like the Rat Trap, but I don't really know if you are scared about your opponent playing 3 cards on turn 3.
You basically, even the opponent basically expect that to be a Rat Trap. I think it has the most chance of being the secret in your hand. You just go for tracking and look for one more 1 mana cost. Do you think that's possible?
I think the only thing that you would really be looking for at this point would be the rest of your setup cards. So something like Call of the Wild. Obviously, that's the big 3-drop that you're looking for there. But he does go for the Rat Trap, and this is just to set things up. And I think at this point, maybe he's not extremely worried about leaving 1 Goblin Bomb on the field. But man, I've just seen this snowball out of control. You leave 1 mech on the board, and it turns into so much more.
Yeah, but not going to stack just now. Not really going to. You don't really want to use the fireworks on just for 2 more damage. You want to get some death rattles with some more draw possibly later on. So no real pressure on the board. Reconnect is just going to draw some more.
You're already seeing Reconnect get kind of the big combo that you're looking for from Beast Hunter, and that is that Dire Frenzy into the Vicious Scale Hide. It gives you so much life gain, the ability to just play these huge high-value rush minions is just incredible. But I have to, kind of point out the bravery from Reconnect being so confident leaving these mechs on the board. It just gets so much more dangerous as the game goes on.
That is true. And for the Mech Hunter, you're really looking for, if you have that many mechs on your hand, you're looking for some lucky draw with the Galvanizer. I think with basically no pressure on the board, you have some time to actually just make your cost go down just a little on all of your mech cards. And then pressure a little bit. Still for Reconnect, he doesn't really see this as a threat. It's only 1/5/1/7.
Yeah, it's definitely not a damage threat, but it just compounds every single turn. Eventually, you're going to hit that big War Gear turn, and you just get 5/6 to the dome, and that really does build up over time.
And because you might actually lack in the amount of healing, you're actually looking for some scale high with the Frenzy, so Reconnect really looking for that the turn 6 to get all that going. So he wants to find that card before turn 6.
Yeah, tracking on 4 also does allow you a lot of 3 mana plays, like I was mentioning. Oh, it actually goes for the Unleash. Okay, we didn't get a chance to see what cards he chose there, so now there's just 2 mystery cards that don't exist in his deck.
Maybe maybe a few more spells. I don't think he was really concerned about too many spells right now.
Reconnect's really playing a very high value kind of play style. So he went for Call of the Wild earlier. He's tracking. He's really trying to set his hand up to be exactly what he needs. Coming into these next few, turn 5, turn 6, really big Mech Hunter turns for Asbefore.
Yeah, Reconnect does have 2 deadly shots. So if he just had 1, I think it's okay to throw. But 1 kill command, so you might be lacking some more direct extra damage at the end. It's got to be thinking about some board presence and how long do you want to actually play this game. If you have all the cards in the beginning, just rush for it with the Tundra Rhino, getting all the charge into the face. But as a setup already, as for just in case, has a taunt. So everything is going to be stopped in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a big 1-7, there's not really a whole lot of ways that you can break through that. I do like what Asbefore is doing. Maybe you can tell me what you think about this. Magnetizing different minions to kind of spread the love across the board, make it harder to clear.
Yep, just in case there are a few more spells, because you don't really exactly know what the spells were from the Shimmerfly.
Oh yeah, that's
what
right.
you actually get from it.
When do you build up one giant, huge mega minion on the board, and when do you try to spread it out? Is that just always the better play?
Against the Beast Hunter, you don't really, because one single kill command or the
Deadly shot
will actually just get it all out. So you don't want to have one big giant one. You want to have like at least 2 or 3. You want to look for your chances, spread them out.
Yeah, now after that Shimmerfly did give all those very high-value spells, now we're starting to see the board build back up. Fireworks tech, oh my goodness, just so good. Draws the Venomizer off.
It's a lot of damage in the face already, though.
Yeah, I mean, 18 health, it might seem low, but this is the big combo turn. The Dire Frenzy on the Vicious Scalehide. This is basically the best-case scenario on turn 6 for almost every Tempo Hunter, and you're just, I mean, what better move could you possibly make there, helping clear off the board and getting that life total higher?
Yeah, we knew that was coming, and still Reconnect does have a pretty good hand to connect with it, so all he needs is a few more rush. He does have the Hound to build up his Hyena already.
Ooh. Having you discard at least one War Gear, I guess you just go for the easy pickup, but it sucks to lose 5 damage.
But which War Gear do you go for?
Oh, that's right. Which one do you love more?
That's the
Which is your favorite child? One of those is going straight to the Shadow Realm, so that feels bad, but man, back up to 26 health. This is the real power of playing that mid-range hunter.
Yeah, this is pretty big. I think Asbefore knows that Reconnect does not really have the deadly shot right now, because there were a few other chances they could actually go for it.
For sure, especially since he runs 2.
And he's also looking for some chance that it might actually not have been a card that he had to make a choice in the middle, especially the one that tracking that Reconnect already used.
Yeah, I honestly think Asbefore's tracking might have been a little bit painful, but we don't know what Reconnect actually discarded from his tracking, so we're going to have to keep that in the back of our minds. But actually, is that Scalehide one of the buffed Scalehides or not? I don't actually know, because I can't see the stats on the card. But if it is, then you can actually just throw that one down to get the value, and then maybe kill command on top of that. But actually, that's still not enough damage. That's 11 health on the board. That's incredibly hard to kill if you don't have a deadly shot.
I think you're just looking for a Hyena and force Asbefore to trade it with a built-up Hyena. Just going straight into face.
Yeah, I mean, it's great, but I don't think it puts as much pressure on the board as that Hyena play you were talking about.
I think Reconnect is bluffing a little bit here.
Oh yeah?
Thinking that Asbefore, okay, I'm just going straight to face. I got my lifesteal. I can really go for a longer game because I got my Frenzy on my Scalehide. I'm going to get that lifesteal all the time, even if you put the 9 damage into my face. Making Asbefore think that, okay, does he actually have the card? Did he just not use it because of lacking mana with the different cards, not even having enough synergy? Or is he also looking to just finish the game in like few turns with that Rhino, having the charge, with some Timber, getting the extra attack for all the maybe Hounds coming in later?
I mean, you have to start thinking about turn 8 is Kill Command Leroy turn for Reconnect. So, actually, I don't think he runs Leroy.
Yeah, there's no Leroy here.
Yeah, Asbefore does. This is with that Galvanizer out there, that makes this Missile Launcher Venomizer combo turn just so incredibly deadly. Clears the board, but obviously when you have a board control on your side, you want to save that for a little bit later.
Yep. Forcing the opponent to get one of your minion. Rhino was a good choice. Charging it directly into the face is a big threat. Still building up, and just having one Galvanizer to say, okay, if you have a kill command, any kind of spell that you can deal with me, just use it, because this is 12 damage to your face.
Now, what do you think about that turn? Obviously, killing the Tundra Rhino is really high priority, but man, I look at that 12 damage bot, and I'm just like, what if you just did 12 to face? That puts you on basically a 1-turn timer. Unless actually you get crazy lifesteal coming back. That's a play that I would make, just hit him in the dome with 12 damage, but then I would also lose the game because Tundra Rhino is very hard to leave up on the field.
With the lifesteal, I don't think Reconnect will be thinking, is this enough for the... Because even Reconnect does not really have that many minions on the board for like extra hounds plus 1 attacks.
Oh, that's true, that's true.
So I don't think he's concerned about lethal yet. I think he still does have the rat trap set up.
That's actually a very good point to make, especially with those low-cost cards in Asbefore's hand. But man, chunking through this 10 health minion, so many resources to do it, and there's like at least 2 death rattles built up.
Just gonna get overkill.
Wow. Okay, it's like you kill 1 minion to get that, tons of damage off the board, and now you've got 7 damage left on the board coming at your face.
So that's before, even if he wants the poison or the spider bomb, he's got to at least sacrifice 2 microbots and no other additional ones. With the missile launcher, he would just be killing his microbots on his own. This is a weird turn for Asbefore.
It really is. I think definitely we can agree that Asbefore kind of has the pressure, especially with the Venomizer missile launcher turn that he hasn't had to use yet. Saving the spider bomb. He's going to be drawing into more mechs to combo that with. Obviously, Galvanizer just keeps comboing, making it cheaper and cheaper. So what is the play here by Asbefore?
So Asbefore is thinking a little more because he does have the poison, but this board is enough to just clear the board here already. But with extra Venomizer and also poison bomb, he's really concerned about the extra set of scale height that is going to come in later, and also the big ones, like another unleashed piece is available in his hand.
Do you think it's smart to go straight for the face when you're playing against somebody that has so much lifesteal in the form of those scale heights?
Because there will be more scale heights coming out later. Because Asbefore, right now, even with that rush, it will let Reconnect gain few more HP back. But if you keep on pressuring, eventually you will run down because you have so many more mechs to actually get it off the board.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, we think about mid-range Hunter as a very high-value deck, especially with Dire Frenzy. And if you can double combo that Dire Frenzy on those scale hides, it gets crazy. But yeah, eventually you do run out of that, and the mechs are just so combo efficient. So let's see. They clear off a lot of the high-damage threats, but of course we can look at Asbefore's hand and see that he has a ton of different options. It sucks that you can't play the hyena before this turn, but you're still going to get a lot of value off of that Unleash thing.
I think Reconnect could have got 1 more Hound if he actually used that before killing off both. Yeah, but he wanted all the revenge. Maybe better ones coming back anyhow, so that's a good call.
Yeah, and actually, keep in mind he got that off of the revenge off of the Shimmer Fly. So didn't actually plan it, but it's actually a huge swing. He not only clears the board, but he's got lifesteal and an incredibly high damage hyena. And normally Reconnect would feel pretty good, except that we know that this is
time to celebrate. A few more damage on the field.
Yeah, fireworks.
But that brings hyena to what does it add up to? That's
well, it all dies.
Yeah, it all dies.
But yeah, this is a very big turn. So if the hyena lived magically, then that would just be kind of the end of the game.
Yeah, this is what makes the missile launcher just so strong. Even if it does not really have the best stats, and it costs a lot.
But I'm actually a little bit worried for Asbefore because that was his big turn. Maybe fireworks text here and he's like, oh no, I can get the death rattle, but you're just looking at so much value from this mid-range Hunter, and with the Timberwolf, it's just a clean, easy clear. What does Asbefore do? He's just running out of options.
I think
sick Galvanizer.
Still has a Zilliax, but it's not coming in hand anytime soon. And another Osotron would be okay, but not. Okay, this is actually being a little bit weird. Reconnect will still get the hides, scale hides coming for the lifesteal, but as before, he's looking to build up some more along with that Zilliax. That's what he needs at the moment.
Yeah, and keep in mind, we're moving towards these late game turn 10 turns, so we're going to see big cards come out, like the Mechanical Whelp combo with that Fireworks tech, which could be huge. Boommaster Flark also setting up a huge board that could result in a lot of damage. And for Reconnect, I mean, you're just going to be dropping Zul'jin any second now. As soon as you draw that, it's going to be a huge tempo swing in his favor.
Yeah, that's how Reconnect has his late game planned.
Not really, neither player really drawing into the big late game cards that they need right now. So even though this is a pretty tense situation, we're holding off on the big plays for now.
I think that the scale card that he actually has, it's not the buffed one.
Right.
So that's why he's thinking just a little bit. He doesn't really need the rush, but it's still good to have 5/5 on the board. For later turns, he's pretty sure that as before his hand is pretty small. And he didn't really play anything. Okay, he doesn't really have like a big life steal or something, something mech to attach onto.
Yeah, and if you play the Unleash the Beast now, it also sets up for that big Zul'jin turn, which just gives you more spells played. You're going to get that back later on. I'm trying to think how that would combo later, but I think clearly that's a better play, but you never want to overplay your hand, you know? Reconnect isn't under a ton of pressure, but he does have to worry because there are things like Leroy in Asbefore's deck. Nothing to rush into, so that's a little bit of an anticlimactic turn, but it does set up a big board that Asbefore is going to have to deal with. Ooh.
It's not the worst, but a Snip Snap could have been one of the best ones that could come up. Any other further mechs that could put him in some defensive mode and buy him some turns to get some more cards.
Yeah, Asbefore's on a 2-turn clock right here, and he has no taunts, no death rattles for that Fireworks tech to really work on. I think Asbefore is just kind of running out of steam. At least that's what it feels like.
Or even an Explodinator could have been okay.
Yeah. Basically anything but the upgradable frame bot. Sorry, man. You're just not that great right now.
Yeah, this is a little bit painful moment for Asbefore. He just has to drop it because he's going dry.
Yeah.
He has nothing else. That gives a lot more hint to Reconnect. Okay. My opponent doesn't really have anything.
Oh,
I should just go all
Timberwolf. Okay. As if he needed the extra help. Wow. Yeah, Asbefore had a lot of really high value combo turns, but in the end, the value of this mid-range Hunter for Reconnect so strong, and that will give Reconnect a Game 1 win and move us on in this specialist format to see which player is going to adjust their deck and maybe bring out one of those secondary or tertiary changes.
If you're not familiar with the specialist format, as both players start with their primary decks, and then they can either choose to stay with the primary or change into secondary or tertiary. For both of the players,
it doesn't matter quite so much anymore. But here we go, we're ready to get into game number 2, and this is where we have the biggest challenge for ourselves, G-Cliff. We have to figure out which secondary or tertiary or even primary deck our players have changed. For Reconnect, maybe don't change anything. He's in a pretty good spot, but for Asbefore, he has made an adjustment here.
Quickly.
We'll see.
Yeah, what are the key differences, like I said earlier, between his...
For secondary for Reconnect, he does have the Revenge of the Wild. Reconnected, just seeing that on top, Reconnected bring his secondary deck. Revenge of the Wild and Hatchet is the difference. And also for Asbefore, going for the secondary deck with the Cybertech chip.
Okay, so that's actually kind of interesting. I mean, I guess he does have Cybertech chip in his primary and secondary decks, but I don't know. I want to see what the big differences are for Reconnect. I mean, look at how scary this board is. This is just absolutely terrifying. Not only are you not going to be able to set up any of your like major mech minions that are sticky to the board, but you leave this Huffer up, and how are you going to deal with that?
That's a good build. When you just have another 4 damaging charge directly.
Yep, always Huffer. I think you just have to Explodinator and hope that something sticks. But honestly, I mean, this is just such a hard opener to deal with. Reconnect is getting basically the best possible hands, and Asbefore, even though he's had some great options, because I mean, this Aggro Mech Hunter is a great deck, they just don't match up. And I think just in the professional community, Tempo Hunter is just so much more valuable.
Beast Hunter is quite strong. And with the Dire Wolf, you're gonna get 1+. But do you actually want to keep the Huffer or the Spring Paw?
Um,
I think trading you can actually go for face.
Yeah.
You don't want to leave the Goblin Bombs because they will bring the extra magnetics.
Yeah, I think you just try to trade as much as you can and you know, do the best. But Revenge of the Wild brings everything back anyway, so you can just get that charge back again. Absolutely incredible play. Reconnect, killing it. Snip Snap, you're a great card, but not the one we need right now. I mean, Snip Snap with Galvanizer's a great combo, but
yep, good for. And it's also good for just using the Galvanizer. He has four other mechs on his hand, but the problem is the field. That's already 9 damage just from the minions, and he's gonna be Asbefore is gonna be down to 15. Doesn't really have direct lifesteal on his hand.
yeah. Where's my Goblin Bombs? Like we gotta have something to deal with this Huffer. Like I don't know. It seems like that card almost just by itself is winning the game for Reconnect. You don't expect Huffer to be the sticky card, right? You play it, it gets 4 damage done, and it gets cleared by something. But there's just nothing here. It feels bad to play Snip Snap just by itself without getting any value from the Echo, but you desperately need something to stick to the board.
Yeah, it is the best option that he had. There's not that many options that Asbefore could have done.
And do you just Dire Frenzy the Huffer at this point? I mean, that's just absolutely gigantic.
I think you might, because of that Galvanizer, Reconnect is thinking, okay, he's got to have a few other mechs.
Yeah.
And because he certainly did not play any other ones in that he had from the front turns, he knows that they're one of the heavy ones, like the War Gear, Mana Sword, the Launcher. So thinking about the late game, might actually want to save up some more and have better setup. But he's already got a pretty good hand against the big ones, like Deadly Shot already in it.
Yeah, and Reconnect knows that with the Galvanizer play, turn 5 is the War Gear Venomizer combo turn with the -1 from the Galvanizer. So he's got to think about that. He's building up a pretty big board, but notably he does not play the Dire Frenzy because he recognizes that all could be cleared this coming turn.
Still no luck for Asbefore. This is terrible.
Well, I mean, at least you clear the Huffer, right? But it doesn't keep you from dying. That's such a Pyrrhic victory. I don't know what else you really expect. I mean, you can try for something like the Missile Launcher, or it does clear.
Or like a random Dr. Boom from nowhere. You suddenly get a rush from all your mechs. That's not happening anytime soon.
Yeah, no. I mean, it does clear the board. That's nice. But it's definitely not as powerful a position as you want as this aggro mech hunter. You're supposed to be dictating the pace of this game, and instead you're letting Reconnect play cards like Master's Call to get the value coming into his hand. He's setting up for that Vicious Scale Hide into Dire Frenzy turn, and a Deadly Shot just right on curve. Perfect amount of mana. Reconnect is killing it with one of the best decks in this format.
Certainly. And the powerful moments from the Beast Hunter deck is actually that even before at turn 6 or turn 7, you can actually just go for lethal. You have so much more chance just because Reconnect had to use Frenzy later on, and maybe in the coming turn he would just straight up use it on the Scale Hide once again. Hunter versus Hunter mentioned before, lifesteal is a crucial, really crucial thing.
Yeah, Replicating Menace and Ursatron, a great turn. I was kind of thinking he was going to magnetize that, but obviously you don't want to play into a Deadly Shot. That would really shut you down. So spreading the board wide, once again, hoping that something sticks. Asbefore is still in this game, but he doesn't have, lifesteal. He needs to get a big board that can be scary, and he hasn't been able to do that at any point this game.
Some more... Or just drawing on 9 lives will actually be okay for Asbefore. Anything that will just trigger an extra death rattle to keep the board safe.
Yeah.
Here we go again.
Yep. Can Reconnect get any more, what's the word we're using for this? Fortunate. There we go. He's just getting that combo every single time. It's exactly what he needs. He's going to have more health than he knows what to do with. Clearing out the board. I mean, sure, there's going to be these microbots left over. And actually, okay, this is starting to look pretty good for the Mech Hunter.
Finally, Ziliax does come out.
Yeah?
But he doesn't want it to go down instantly.
Yeah, you do want to save that for the best possible moment. He's got a really good combo coming up with that War Gear later on. But I think he just starts to build a big board. That Cybertech chip is the hashtag value that he's looking for here.
If you're looking to have at least few more cards in your hand, along with some board value.
Why did he hit with the Microbot first?
Just because you wanted.
Oh, actually, there's a Rat Trap secret, right?
Yep.
Okay, we just can't see it.
Just
trust
checking.
us, guys. We would never lie to you. We're like your big brother casters. Well, actually, I lie to my little brother all the time, but the trap is there. And
Just
so
checking for any like misdirection or something.
Yeah,
But,
or explosive trap is the big one that would have really kind of screwed him up.
He's getting 3 more. Still has the rush to build up Hyena. You can force drawing 2. I think if you have 2, you can actually just sacrifice 1.
For the Vicious Scale Heights? Or...
Just get one of the links out there, and you can just kill one of... Just get one of the micros. To get extra value from the Hyena, you're forcing the other one to trade, or at least there's something like a Ziliax to come out at least one shot off that Ziliax.
Yeah, what you want to do is reconnect because you have kind of the tempo advantage. I guess is to just force your opponent to have so many options. So it's like, if you don't have Ziliax, you're in trouble. So if you have Ziliax, it's like, okay, well, you passed the test. But then there's another test next turn, and eventually you're going to fail. Is that an unpowered Steam bot?
Yeah, Steam bot.
I mean, that's a great way to kind of save your health bar. 9 defense, just a big beefy taunt. You don't expect to draw the Clockwork Goblin, but I guess that fits pretty well in this deck.
Well, there's our Bomb Warrior.
Are we playing Bomb Warrior here, G-Clef? I thought we didn't have many of those.
Yeah, but that's the buff that you get. You also still keep the microbot for extra attachment.
And it's got that Cybertech chip plugged in.
Yeah, finally Asbefore is going to get some lifesteal on the way.
So the game continues. It's not like it's not nearly as one-sided as our first game here. Asbefore has developed a pretty solid, sticky board. He does have a handful of mechs. Eventually, he's going to draw into like fireworks tech, and you're going to really go off with that mechanical. Well, we haven't seen any Venomizers yet, or did he play one early on? I'm trying to remember the first couple of turns here. But eventually that's going to come in and maybe combo with some fireworks from the missile launcher.
Asbefore does have 2 Venomizers here. Not removed in the secondary deck. No Bomb Toss, no upgradable frame bot in the secondary here. So this is a good choice to have a few more to upgrade into a bigger mech. But weird turn for a Reconnect because it's just going to give Asbefore to have a lot more lifesteal, and he's gonna have some trouble just removing that off the board.
Yeah, you really want like a deadly shot, and honestly, the only problem that Reconnect has had is drawing deadly shots. He has such a hard time doing it. But hey, I mean, this is a great way. I really like that he values the Tundra Rhino higher than the Hyena. A lot of times people think, I just want a really big Hyena, but no. The charge is by far more valuable.
Yeah, Rush is pretty good, but what if you can go straight to face? That's what you're looking for as Hunter.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's one lifesteal out of the way, Reconnect. The only question is that he's only got 1 card in his hand.
And yeah, it's not a good one. You think of a mid-range Hunter as having a lot of value, a lot of card draw, like Call the Wild, stuff like that. But Reconnect, even though he's drawn into one of those, kind of running dry at this point. And actually, the tables have turned from game number 1. Now it's Asbefore with the card advantage, board advantage. He's looking pretty good.
Yeah, with the second mechanical whelp, Asbefore can set up extra turn, but
Oh, how good a draw is that? I've got 10 mana and no cards in my hand. What would be a great card to draw, G-Clef?
Lovely.
Wow. What a perfect draw. This is where we do the next meme
Leo
collab.
Frenzy is actually really good. I love it all the time when it comes out. This is a little painful, but still has a few more cards coming up, so it doesn't matter as much.
Not the greatest Zul'jin turn, but honestly, I mean, you're just so happy to get that draw. The Call of the Wild is actually probably the hidden MVP there, because now he's just got stuff to do.
That's exactly what we're all thinking here. So also just throw out an Ultratron, look for a few more draw with the Death Rattle.
Yeah, you can also kind of set up the unpowered Steambot to kind of either buy yourself a few turns, or I guess you don't want to play Mechanical Whelp. I mean, he's gonna.
I think you do. Set up a Death Rattle, and then Steambot, you're looking for a few more attachment to it. So you need a few extra cards with the Magnetic. That's what Asbefore is looking for, because with that Zul'jin now, the pressure is going to be on, even with the hero power.
Now, how do you break through 9 health to kill this Mechanical Whelp? You really want to pop that and stop it from, building up into an even bigger mech. Honestly, though, the worst case scenario, or at least one of the bad ones Reconnect can be thinking about, is like you pop the Mechanical Whelp and then the War Gear comes down the next turn and you take like 15 damage to your face, and all of a sudden, even with playing that big Zul'jin tempo swing, he's still not out of the woods just yet.
Yeah, with the hatchet, you can actually go through the Steambot. And still we'll get that 5-2 out of the day if he actually wants to keep that lifesteal just a little longer. I don't think you want that 5-2 on the board as any longer.
Well, if you kill a Mechanical Whelp here, it's a little bit deceptive, because you're basically giving that giant Mechanical Dragon charge the next turn.
The Reconnect does still have a much stronger board, and for Asbefore, Mech Hunter does have against some big board presence, especially 2 to 3. Can have some trouble clearing all those at the same time. You don't want to Leroy to get 1 minion off. You might have to though.
Honestly, you're right. He might actually just have to Leroy here. I mean, this is definitely kind of a feels bad man turn, especially when you have 24 health, but your opponent has such a huge board. He's definitely wishing he had a Venomizer at some point. It's just something to deal with anything on the board. But I guess he can take out one of the Leox, and then you Leroy to kill the other one. But it just feels so bad to do.
Might actually give stronger board presence for Reconnect, because he has Direwolf Alpha.
Oh yeah.
Can buff up those 1/1s to clear out further minions on the board.
Yeah, I mean, sharing is caring, so there you go. Easy to forget that those also get buffed by those Leox. Thankfully, they're all cleared out, but I mean, Direwolf Alpha's probably coming down next turn, and that's also going to allow for an easy clear of that Mechanical Dragon.
That's actually what Reconnect needed?
Yeah, that's a very good one. Generates the value from discovering a spell.
Which spell, though? Oh, another chip.
Okay. That's like could be better in Asbefore's deck, but because there's so many low health minions, it's actually great to play here. That's so much value for Reconnect. Oh my goodness, I can't get over just how perfectly each one of Reconnect's turns has worked out for him. Oh my goodness, Asbefore's running out of so many options. He's already used some of the missile launchers. He's had to use, what is it? Sorry, I'm drawing a blank. But,
yeah, Explodinator and a few other ones that actually got a lot of board presence value. And also, the fact that Ziliax is gone, I think that's a big issue here. And
that's them, and this is us. Where are we?
Yes,
you transformed into a much handsomer version of me. for a second there. But now we're both back to being ourselves. So obviously some minor technical difficulties. We'll get right back into there, I hope. I mean, that's actually a very interesting occurrence because we were talking about that particular point in the game.
Yes.
We had, what was it, Reconnect, who, you know, may be aptly named for right now. But I think the big moment that we were seeing there is just so much value. Cybertech chip coming in, and I can actually hear some sound effects. We might be going back into the game here momentarily, but I mean, it doesn't get much better than now for Reconnect because not only is he living up to his name, but he's also in a great spot in the game.
Yeah, I think Asbefore actually sort of controlled the game, especially on the early on when they had the mechs available. But Reconnect just having those lifesteal and just getting some clutch draws actually helped him a lot. I think
I feel like I need to radio broadcast this because we can hear what's happening in the game.
You heard the rope.
Yep, based on the sound effects, you can tell he's really thinking about his turn here.
And certainly
I'm
another
so
mech
curious
on the
what's
board.
happening here. Yeah,
another mech on the board. That's certainly from Asbefore.
Yeah, I didn't hear the Explodinator Goblin Bomb go off, so one of those is still on the board.
The hatch chat is off now with the damage from the face.
This is the most challenging broadcasting I've had to do ever. This is actually casting hard mode, so I hope you guys can appreciate the expertise that's at work here.
I think it's Asbefore's turn after.
Yeah, if we're counting turns, then I believe that's what we're hearing. Yeah, because you can hear the mechs moving.
This does.
He's magnetizing something. Hero power, alright.
Getting all that power, but still the lives were actually around like 24, 28.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's at risk of dying yet, but soon, possibly. Well,
That's a lot of face that I'm hearing.
We should act out the actions of the cards on the board.
That's at least
where I hit you in the face.
That's
face is the place, right?
Don't exactly know.
Congratulations to Reconnect. I'm so happy he